changing out there. There's a storm coming, Harry. Just like last time.
Voldemort is back. Sides have been drawn, and a great storm is coming.
He wants to build up his army again.
If Voldemort's building up an army, then I want to fight.
Like a click of a switch, the rules have changed, and Harry Potter is thrust headlong into his greatest adventure yet.
We're forming some sort of wizard army.
If they can do it, why not us?
With cryptic visions and flashes from the past, mystery pervades every corner of our story.
Lord Voldemort transferred some of his powers to you the night he gave you that skull.
Where are we headed, and what don't we know? Let's look back through each of Harry's adventures and search for clues. One thing we know, things are very rarely as they seem. A hard look to the past may show Harry his clearest path to the future.
You're a great wizard, Harry.
You have been told that a certain dark wizard is at large once again. This is a lie.
It's not a lie. I saw him. I fought.
Detention, Mr. Potter!
In Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, the fifth in a series of 7 movies, we find Harry in a very different kind of adventure.
It's a real sense of a growing danger that you can't quite define.
Such a scary atmosphere. This time they're much more sort of together and as a team.
Harry is taking action in a very different and more determined way, and it's truly heroic.
Harry is haunted by his past, very much alone and looking for answers.
This connection between me and Voldemort, what if the reason for it is that I am becoming more like him?
In Order of the Phoenix, I think we have a sense that we're beginning to unravel the great mystery, which, of course, is the relationship of Harry to Voldemort. That this is not just a random series of events, but it's all leading to something.
He's back. Voldemort's back.
And if we're to know where their path is taking us, we should look first at how their paths became intertwined.
It so happens that the Phoenix, whose tail feather resides in your wand, gave another feather. Just one other. It is curious that you should be destined for this wand when its brother gave you that scar.
Understand this, Harry, because it's very important. Not all wizards are good. Some of them go bad.
Voldemort went as bad as you can go.
14 years ago, Voldemort had huge numbers at his command.
Even in these dark times, there were good wizards who fought back, calling themselves the Order of the Phoenix. But no one survived when Voldemort decided to kill them. Nobody, except one. Harry was the boy who lived.
Voldemort shows up and he's going to kill baby Harry, and Lily stands in the way and he kills her and then tries to kill Harry and it rebounds and he turns into a phantom. What really happened?
What would drive Voldemort to seek out baby Harry? And how could a mere child reverse his powerful magic?
Was there someone else in the room? We don't know. Who came to pick up Voldemort's devastated body? We don't know. Who rescued Voldemort's wand so that it could be produced later at the end of Goblet of Fire? How did Peter Pettigrew get the wand?
What happened in Godric's Hollow? I don't know, but not what you think.
For 14 years, Voldemort sought his return to human form. And then, with a drop of Harry's blood, he was back.
This is a psychological drama as much as it is, wands and wizards blasting one another. It's all about Harry's identity taking shape. Voldemort is back, and now Harry has to confront his shadow.
Voldemort is getting stronger and stronger, and he's recruiting.
Harry's attacked by Dementors in Little Whinging. What is that about?
Whatever happens, don't leave the house.
Things are starting to break down. Basically, all the rules get thrown out. Everything that we think we know goes out the window.
A lot of people don't want to accept that he's back.
The evidence that the Dark Lord has returned is incontrovertible. He stopped back.
State of denial is common to all of us, isn't it?
Harry is brought to court with all the other wizards and judges and members of the Ministry of Magic.
And he has to go on trial for using underage magic.
Charges?
The charges against the accused are as follows.
He's being vilified by the Ministry of Magic. And they're terrified that he's made this story up about Voldemort coming back. They're convinced, actually, that he's lying.
I'm not lying. There were two of them, and if I hadn't...
Enough. I'm sorry to interrupt what I'm sure would have been a very well-rehearsed story.
In Ministry's opinion, he is in there to be found guilty, and nothing else.
After everything that Harry's been through, you know, he watched someone die in front of him, he almost got killed, and to be told that he's making it up is... I'd be pretty angry.
The Daily Prophet's been saying a lot of things about you, Harry, and about Dumbledore as well.
I'll have a go at anyone that calls me a liar.
It just must be unbearable, you just must feel so alone.
But Harry is anything but alone. Harry's scar is no mere cut. A mark like that comes only from being touched by a curse. It is a direct line to its maker.
Your scar is legend, as of course is the wizard who gave it to you.
What does it mean that Voldemort has been living within Harry through the presence of Harry's scar? We have a lot of questions yet to be answered about that.
Dumbledore thinks Voldemort might be using Harry, almost my eyes as portals, my mind as a way of seeing what I'm seeing.
Harry's courage is really being worn down by Voldemort.
In this particular story is Harry being a bit of an outsider, feeling like people do not trust him, do not believe him, feeling like he doesn't belong.
Professor!
Harry's whole story is the story of a boy trying to figure out where he belongs in the world.
Harry was untethered from the start, orphaned by tragedy, and in desperate measures left on a doorstep.
Good luck, Harry Potter.
He knows at the beginning that he doesn't belong at the Dursleys.
Hurry up! Bring my coffee, boy!
They make it clear to him every waking moment of his life.
What happened?
I swear I don't know! 1 minute the glass was there and then it was gone. It was like magic.
There's no such thing as magic.
Make a wish, Harry.
Sorry about that.
And then along comes Hagrid and says, no, you belong in the wizarding world.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what?
A wizard. And a thumping good one, I'd wager. You're the boy who lived.
He has this mysterious connection to Voldemort through the scar, through the matching wands. Once he's at Hogwarts, where does he belong?
Where to put you?
Not Slytherin. Not Slytherin.
Not Slytherin, eh? Are you sure? You could be great, you know. It's all here.
He speaks Parseltongue, like Slytherins.
Salazar Slytherin, he could talk to snakes too.
Now the whole school's gonna think you're his great-great-great-grandson or something.
But I'm not.
He can't be.
He lived 1,000 years ago. For all we know, you could be.
He's got this mysterious connection to the greatest Slytherin of all time. And yet he's in Gryffindor.
I was just wondering if you put me in the right house.
Yes, I stand by what I said last year. You would have done well in Slytherin.
You're wrong.
But if Harry questions where he belongs, where does he find the strength to fight back? From within.
You know, this is very advanced magic, well beyond the ordinary wizarding level.
I'm sure.
But in order for it to work, you need to think of a memory. Just any memory, a very happy memory, a very powerful memory.
Expecto Patronum! I was thinking of him. And Mum. Seeing their faces. They were talking to me. Just talking. That's the memory I chose.
Whoa! My body's gone!
In the magical world of Harry Potter, people can be invisible, or transfigure into animals, or shapeshift into each other.
Bloody hell. We still sound like ourselves.
If anything is possible, what else is not as it seems?
Ridiculous!
The whole series is throwing you for a loop. Is making you think you believe something, and then leaving you in a place where not only do you not have it figured out, the stuff you knew wasn't right either.
Bartemius! Not trying to lure Potter into one of the Ministry's summer internships, are we? Last boy who went into the Department of Mysteries never came out.
In each one of the stories, we meet someone whose identity is hidden, that what seems to be true on the surface isn't what's true at depth. You have to be asking yourself, are these people who they seem to be?
Who is that? That man? Who is that? Who is... That is Sirius Black, that is. He's a murderer.
Sirius Black is this evil, nasty, bad character. He is coming and trying to kill Harry in the middle of the night.
He's here! Somewhere in the castle! Sirius Black!
They have to put Dementors around the school, which are truly horrible things, to defend the school against Sirius Black. I mean, that's how awful this character is made to appear.
When Harry Potter's parents realized they were marked for death, do you remember? They went into hiding. Few knew where they were. One who did was Sirius Black. And he told you know who.
I'd escaped from prison and I'd been there for 12 years, and by the look of me, one can only imagine what life is like in Azkaban.
Turns out that Sirius is exactly the opposite of what we've been led to believe. He's the person who loves Harry most in the world.
The ones that love us never really leave us. And you can always find them. In here.
Sirius flies from Hogwarts, the escaped prisoner facing a lifetime on the run. But the running ends as he returns to the Order of the Phoenix.
This is my parents' house. I offered it to Dumbledore as headquarters for the Order. About the only useful thing I've been able to do.
He's in hiding at the old family home. It's this rather dark and dingy mausoleum, really.
He's basically a prisoner in his own home. He's still the prisoner.
Our eyes misled us with Sirius. But when we look back at each of the films, we find that rarely can we trust what we see.
This is Scabbers, by the way. Pathetic, isn't he? Just a little bit.
You just don't know what's important until later.
I'm warning you, Hermione. Keep that bloody beast of yours away from Scabbers, or I'll turn it into a tea cozy.
What looked like pet rivalry between Hermione's cat Crookshanks and Ron's pet Scabbers turns out to be a major clue.
Ronald has lost his rat.
I haven't lost anything. Your cat killed him.
Rubbish.
Harry, you've seen the way that bloodthirsty beast of hers was always lurking about.
It turns out Crookshanks saw what we didn't see.
Scabbers, Ron's beloved rat that's been in the family for how many years, and Ron's always had Scabbers, and then for him to turn up like Peter Pettigrew.
Scabbers! Leave him alone!
What a twist in the plot was that? That was madness.
You won't let them give me to the Dementors, will you? I was your rat!
We look at these characters and we think we know who they are.
Turn around in the dungeon!
I thought you ought to know.
And yet, they're somebody else. The good guys even use this.
Here it is, the Polyjuice Potion.
Wicked.
Harry and Hermione and Ron brew Polyjuice Potion so that they can sneak in to Slytherin and get some clues from Draco.
Why are you wearing glasses?
Reading.
Reading? I didn't know you could read.
Later, the Polyjuice Potion allowed Mad-Eye Moody to appear to be one of the best allies that Harry could have.
Oh, no, you don't, Sonny! I teach you to curse someone when their back is turned.
We find, oh my goodness, Mad-Eye Moody isn't at all who he seems to be. Mad-Eye Moody happens to be a star Death Eater, and we've embraced him because we believe he's here to help us. Yeah, he's here to help us for a magic ride straight to a graveyard confrontation with the Dark Lord.
So associating with muggles.
Lucius slips Riddle's diary into Ginny's cauldron, and then that just triggers off everything else. Voldemort is the diary. He tricks and takes over Ginny's mind and controls her and manipulates her, which then leads to Harry going down in the fight with the basilisk. And it's just something as simple as a diary.
All we have is Harry's viewpoint, and we identify with Harry, and we begin to believe that this is what's really happening. We call this narrative misdirection.
Snape doesn't want the stone for himself. He wants the stone for Voldemort.
So if Harry makes a mistake, we make the mistake right along with him.
Say, Percy, who's that teacher talking to Professor Quirrell?
Oh, that's Professor Snape.
What's he teach?
Potions. But everyone knows it's the dark arts he fancies.
Mr. Potter, our new celebrity.
If Harry says, I don't trust Severus Snape, then we say, well, we don't trust him either.
Snape or Voldemort, they were pretty much on a par for Harry. I mean, Voldemort killed his parents, so he's slightly higher, but Snape is right up there.
How extraordinarily like your father you are, Potter. He, too, was exceedingly arrogant.
We see Harry convinced that this sadist in the potions classroom is out to get him.
So it's Quidditch tomorrow.
Then I suggest you take extra care, Mr. Potter. Loss of limb will not excuse you.
And he seems to have plenty of reason to think that. Even Hermione Granger at one point thinks that Snape is trying to, kill Harry.
What's going on with Harry's broomstick?
It's Snape! He's jinxing the broom!
We find out that the truth is almost 180 degrees opposite.
Snape tried to kill me.
No, dear boy. I tried to kill you. And trust me, I would have succeeded. Even with Snape muttering his little counter-curse.
Very seldom do we see Snape except for through Harry's eyes. Who is he really?
He seems to be two things at once. He seems to be a Death Eater.
You don't want me as your enemy, Quirrell.
But he seems to be in the Order of the Phoenix. So what's really the truth? Is Snape a spy? Is he a double spy? Is he a triple spy? He could be any of those.
It's a sign, Severus. You know what it means as well as I.
There seems no clearer rule of thumb. The defense against the dark arts teacher, good or bad, will surely have a secret to hide.
In the first one, Quirrell turns out to be a Voldemort-mobile. Gilderoy Lockhart. We find out that he's a fraud. Remus Lupin. We find out that he's a werewolf.
Ridiculous!
By the time we get to the fifth movie, and we're introduced to the Defense Against the Dark Arts character, we should be primed to be thinking, this person is not who they seem to be.
Good morning, children.
Dolores Umbridge is in that tradition of characters. You felt you were dealing with one thing and you're suddenly dealing with something very different.
When you first see her, she's sort of just wearing all this pink. She's got this massive pink dress and this strange pink hat. And I think everyone at first thinks she's quite funny.
I'm sure we're all going to be very good friends.
That's likely.
She's the pink spider.
Professor Umbridge works for the Ministry and basically wants to be within Hogwarts walls because she feels that Dumbledore and Harry are telling lies to discredit the Ministry.
I want you to write, I must not tell lies. She's sort of second in command to Cornelius Fudge, who's, just God in her eyes and will absolutely do her job to the nth degree.
There's actually a really dark and damaged side to her. She is a complete megalomaniac who needs to be absolutely in control all the time, and if she's not in control, she becomes dangerous.
Anything that veers from her view of the way things should be has no hope. Nothing will stand in her way, and Imelda plays that with a smile.
She's so dedicated to helping these children to see the light. Or to see the pink, I think.
I see her as a genetic splice between Doris Day and Freddy Krueger.
She doesn't want them to be doing any spells.
Wands away. There'll be no need to talk.
Only to think's more like it. They are basically just writing lines every single lesson.
And it's not just the students on the line.
Could you please predict something for me?
I'm sorry.
Trelawney gets very nervous when Umbridge comes in and watches her
class and really brutalises her, actually, in front of the class. And then it's followed by a yet more brutal expulsion.
I can't do this. Actually, I can. Get rid of people, terribly sorry.
She's a bit of a psycho, basically.
As I told you once before, Mr. Potter, naughty children deserve to be punished.
And of course, Fred and George don't like that. They can see what she is for real. No one's sticking up to her, so I think it's about time to. And they've just always wanted an excuse just to tell the school exactly what they think, what they can do with their lessons now. Yeah.
Ready when you are! Woo!
Sort of exciting, isn't it? Breaking the rules.
Who are you and what have you done with Hermione Granger?
In Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, a mysterious link to Voldemort weighs heavily on Harry.
Haven't you always wondered what was the connection between you and the Dark Lord?
Harry's obviously got that potential for evil inside him.
Shut up! Shut up!
That's sort of always been the worry for Harry, because ever since the first film when the Hat said, you should be in Slytherin.
So the Sorting Hat was right. I should be in Slytherin.
Why then did the Sorting Hat place you in Gryffindor?
Because I asked it to.
Exactly, Harry, exactly. It is not our abilities that show what we truly are. It is our choices.
He doesn't even quite realize it, that really his choice is what is his strength.
Why suffer an horrific death when you can join me and live?
Never! It's more just being brave enough to realise and make the right decisions.
But the obvious choice is not necessarily the right choice.
You sold James and Lily to Voldemort, didn't you? The Dark Lord. You've no idea the weapons he possesses. Such absurdity. What would you have done?
I would have died! I would have died rather than betray my friends! You should have realized, Peter, that if Voldemort didn't kill you, then we would! Together!
No! Harry saved Peter Pettigrew's life, and now Peter owes him. Peter has a life debt to Harry. That could be a handy thing for Harry later, to have someone in debt to him who has access to Voldemort.
Voldemort may be after something. Something he didn't have last time.
In this film, there's the fear something might have gone wrong in his head.
The Dark Lord failed to acquire it.
Oh, thank goodness. And next we need...
Look at me! What's happening to me?
There is such a relationship with Voldemort, such a connection with him, that he thinks this sense of evil must be stronger in him than it is in other people. But I think Sirius is the person who really helps him through that. I just feel so angry all the time.
You're not a bad person. You're a very good person who bad things have happened to. Harry feels a lot of shame and a lot of guilt, and we all know what that's like and what that can do to us.
The killing curse. Only one person is known to have survived it, and he's sitting in this room.
He really is set apart from everybody else in the wizarding world. It's not just choosing where he belongs, it's will he choose to meet his destiny, the destiny that was prophesied for him before birth.
Dark and difficult times lie ahead. Soon we must all face the choice between what is right and what is easy.
Voldemort is rising. His troops are gathering. A great war is in the offing.
Do enjoy yourself, won't you? While you can.
While at Hogwarts,
We're not going to use magic.
You will be learning about defensive spells in a secure, risk-free way.
Harry and his friends are forbidden to learn even the simplest spells to defend against the dark arts. Enough is enough. Harry takes a stand.
Harry becomes a man who stands against what's evil.
First, we need to find a place of practice where Umbridge won't find out.
We go underground. We form the D8, which stands for Dumbledore's Army. It's a guerrilla revolutionary organisation in many ways.
Harry has to find a secret place where they can have these classes. And Neville finds this room of requirement, which is a room in Hogwarts that nobody really knows about.
The ring of requirement only appears when a person has real need of it, and is always equipped for the Seeker's needs.
It's like Hogwarts wants us to fight back.
It was the only way they're actually going to learn how to defend themselves.
I love the creation of Dumbledore's army. I love it that it just sort of comes together out of nothing, and all of a sudden, these kids are able to look around and say, hey, we could make a difference.
Every great wizard started out as nothing more than what we are now. If they can do it, why not us?
We see Harry become a teacher. For the first time, Harry is becoming a leader of men, or in fact, a leader of kids.
We see Harry start to become the person he was meant to be. And it's not just through the fact that they're learning the skills that they need. The fact that they name themselves Dumbledore's Army says that they're doing this for a purpose, that they've taken a side, that they realize that there's a difference between good and evil.
Expecto Patronus!
Harry teaches them to do a Patronus.
A full-bodied Patronus is the most difficult to produce.
Back in the third one, Lupin didn't think anybody Harry's age could do that. And Harry's teaching kids to do that.
We see our kids use magic in a way that we've never seen them use it before.
We're going to make them proud, Neville. That's a promise.
He's not going to have to do it alone. He has allies.
You see Harry, Hermione, and Ron totally united and really, really there for each other in a big way, and their friendship and strength of their friendship attracts everyone else.
Harry does belong, and not only does he belong, but he has people who are willing to follow him.
Even though we've got a fight ahead of us, we've got one thing that Voldemort doesn't have. Something worth fighting for.
We've taken a bunch of kids who really don't belong anywhere, and they've found each other and formed their own friendships, and out of those alliances, they're going to change the world. We long to change the world, and we don't always get a chance. But with Harry and Hermione and Ron, we get to join up with them and change the world with them.
In Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, we find that characters are often not as they seem, but also sometimes not as they have been judged.
It's one of Joe's perennial themes, really, that you can't judge a book by its cover. Sometimes things that feel familiar and lovely can have a dark underside.
Are you going to kill me, Harry?
And things that are horrible and that you judge quickly, there can be something more to them.
It's easy to just dismiss someone as being not liking them or whatever, but actually giving someone a chance,
Hey, Potter.
despite how you might at first dislike them, can be very, very difficult. Especially for someone like Harry, who I think is quite instinctual.
How are you?
Spectacular.
Now, Harry, he's a good kid. He's got a good heart. He wants to make the right choices. He always wants to serve his friends. He never takes the easy way out. He's always looking to do the right thing. But he has some blinders on.
What's the matter, Potter? Bit beyond your reach?
When he meets someone, it'll be pretty instant whether he likes them or not. The lessons that he's learned generally over these films is that you can't ever assume something about a person.
And in first place, Slytherin House.
He really is convinced that anybody that has anything to do with the Slytherin house is a bad guy. He's had his bad experiences with Draco.
I don't give a damn what your father thinks, Malfoy. He's vile and cruel, and you're just pathetic.
Harry has this built-in hatred of Slytherin, which is beyond any reasonable hatred. He simply does not talk to someone because they're Slytherin. They're enemies automatically.
Who do we know who thinks all Muggleborns are scum?
But Malfoy, the heir of Slytherin.
Well, maybe Ron's right, Hermione. I mean, look at his family. The whole lot of them have been in Slytherin for centuries.
One of the major themes we see in all the films is about the evil of prejudice.
Harry is a walking example of that. On the other hand, he's the example of that starting to break down. He is the one that puts Dumbledore's army together, which has 3 of the 4 houses all together.
I'm okay.
Draco will say horrible things about Ron because he's poor.
You see, Weasley, unlike some, my father can afford the best.
We see horrible things said about Hermione because she's a mudblood.
Enemies of the heir, beware. You'll be next, mudbloods.
Draco represents more than just a bad, mean kid. He represents the meanness of that intolerant attitude in Harry's life.
I got a real treat for you today. A great lesson.
God, this place has gone to the dogs.
Wait until my father hears that Dumbledore's got this oath-teaching classes. Shut up, Malfoy.
The prejudice that's built into the world as it is now is its greatest weakness, and is what Voldemort uses.
Get out! It's the Death Mason!
He is constantly working on distrust between different wizards.
This castle will not only be your home this year, but home to some very special guests as well.
Why did Dumbledore insist that they have a Triwizard Tournament? Because he knew that the only way they were going to defeat Voldemort is if he can start to gather good people together and try to get over the prejudices which are leaving the wizarding world ripe for Voldemort and his philosophy.
Voldemort's philosophy, which comes down to every man for himself, you're only alone. Love is an irrelevance.
Shall I divulge how I truly lost my powers? It was love. But no matter, things have changed.
The filters that we look through, the beliefs that we hold in our heart, largely determine how much we really understand. The glasses that we wear, these will restrict us.
Hey, read the badge part. Could I have a word?
Maybe the big problems that they have to overcome in order to eventually have a victory over Voldemort is a victory over their own prejudices. And I know people have taken that idea and said, well, then somewhere along the line, there's got to be a reconciliation between Draco and Harry.
And though the wizarding world is a place where the oddest and quirkiest misfits find a home, even here, there are some that seem to be rejected by all.
Everyone says Luna Lovegood.
One of the wonderful Ravenclaw characters, Luna Lovegood, is chastised as being loony.
Luna Lovegood is very eccentric, and she believes in all these creatures like Nargles that don't exist, but she's convinced they are. And all the kids kind of give her a wide berth because she's completely off the wall. The closer you get to her, though, you suddenly start to appreciate that she's actually talking a lot of sense.
She is a glorious spirit, very comfortable with who she is, very much inhabits her own world. She's comfortable being on her own and dreaming.
She kind of floats along through life. Everyone thinks she's a bit silly, but she's not. She's really clever. Well, if I were you-know-who, I'd want you to feel cut off from everyone else. Because if it's just you alone, you're not as much of a threat.
She's, in a way, the most perceptive of the characters. She sees things that nobody else can see. If you take in the prejudice of the world against her, you'll miss out on all those things.
She's lost one of her parents. Harry's drawn to her because he feels they're sort of kindred spirits in a way.
It's a strange bond between Harry and Luna. They're both outsiders.
Luna introduces Harry to another group of outsiders, the magical creatures known as Thestrals.
You're not going mad. I can see them too.
Thestrals can only be seen by people who've seen death, and it's quite intimidating and quite scary. And then later in the forest, Luna introduces him to them properly.
They're quite gentle, really, but people avoid them because they're a bit
different. If you can imagine the apocalypse, they look like the type of things that the four horsemen would be riding. They are like the horses of death.
When you look at them quickly, they're really scary. They're kind of dark and devil-like and spooky. And then when you get up a little bit closer, they're not that at all. They're actually quite beautiful and elegant and graceful and wonderful, in fact, when they spread their wings.
Another character ready to spread his wings is the oft-forgotten, much maligned Neville Longbottom.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Neville.
Neville starts off as really this sweet doofus who can't do anything right. He can't remember things. He can't do well in his classes.
Expelliarmus!
He can't use a wand well. He's just not a very good wizard. I think we have to be asking ourselves, now, why was Neville put in Gryffindor? Why was this wussy, sweet kid put into the house of bravery and courage and boldness?
Why is it always me?
We find out this year everything that's happened to him in his life has been feeding this anger, and now he just wants to unleash it.
Expelliarmus!
Fantastic, Neville. Well done.
His relationship with Neville, they find that they're actually even closer than they knew.
So, how are we getting to London?
He's not the person that Harry would have chosen to have by his side. Certainly he's not the person at the beginning of Sorcerer's Stone. If we were saying, let's pick the allies that Harry's gonna need, we would never pick Neville. He turned out to not be who we thought he was going to be, in a really lovely way.
Bellatrix Lestrange.
Neville Longbottom, is it? How's Mum and Dad?
Better now they're about to be avenged.
I think we get to see ourselves in the misfits of the world and get to say, you know what, it doesn't matter if I'm not the richest, prettiest, most powerful, smartest, most influential. What I do matters. What Luna does matters. What Neville does matters. And they're going to have a critical part to play in the making right of the world of Harry Potter.
Voldemort wants to build up his army.
The Dark Lord approaches.
If Voldemort's raising an army, then I want to fight.
Throughout Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, we find Harry propelled inexorably towards a clash with the forces of evil.
Things become more scary when you can't put a name to them. We know it's Voldemort, but we don't know when it's going to happen, or how it's going to happen, or what form it will take.
He really is out there, isn't he?
There's a sense of mounting tension, of a war actually being very, very imminent.
How can Harry possibly defeat Voldemort? Voldemort is the greatest wizard of the age. Dumbledore says Voldemort knows magic that he doesn't know. Harry's in big trouble.
And you just know that when it comes down to some final confrontation at some point, it's not going to be because Harry's good at Quidditch. I mean, that got him a dragon egg, but that's not going to beat Voldemort. At some point, it's got to be something in Harry himself.
Dear Mr. Potter, you are hereby expelled from Hogwarts.
In Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, we find Harry stripped of the things he values most.
He's lost respect within the wizarding world. He's lost respect within Hogwarts.
Professor Dumbledore!
His reliance on Dumbledore, all these things are ripped out of his life.
What's left is Harry's infallible instinct for good.
He perceives things the others don't see, and he makes the bold move. He has the saving person thing. He identifies with others, and he's going to do the courageous thing.
He doesn't try to be the hero, but he feels he needs to do something.
And importantly, Harry doesn't need to go through it alone.
You're seeing Harry go through this, and you're seeing his friends stick with him.
Harry!
And you see, that's a key thing, especially maybe nowadays when we've got a world where evil seems very real.
We've got to be able to defend ourselves.
And kids see Harry and Ron and Hermione stand there and say, no, I'm not going to take this. I can fight back. They're going to take the stand.
Get behind me!
And where they take a stand, there's no turning back.
We have the mother of all battles, their battle for the soul of Harry. It's very powerful, it's very exciting, it's very dramatic, and yes, it's spectacular, but it's rooted in emotion.
The battle lines are drawn. While Harry's been struggling at Hogwarts, Voldemort's been busy rallying his troops.
Lucius's mask has gone forever. There's no pretending to anybody whose side he's on. And this is to the death.
Give me the prophecy now, or watch your friends die.
Lucius gets nastier and nastier, so it's kid gloves off this time, and I'm about as unpleasant as I'm likely to get.
Why did Voldemort need me to come and get this?
You dare speak his name?
You filthy half-blood!
Bellatrix Lestrange, played by Helena Bonham Carter, and who's this really eccentric, dangerous witch, mad woman, spent years and years in Azkaban. She's gone really fruity and crazy, and she comes out and she likes torturing wizards.
She is a sadist, and she does get joy out of causing pain, and the Crucio curse is one that she just loves.
I was really keen that we never took a straight line with Bellatrix, and so Helena's did some really crazy stuff.
Because she's in prison for 14 years, there's a dilapidated quality to her. She was once intensely glamorous and very beautiful, but is sort of gone to seed.
On the side of good is a ragtag bunch of wizards, the Order of the Phoenix.
I wanted you to have this. Original Order of the Phoenix.
The Order of the Phoenix is an organisation which Dumbledore set up 16 years ago and had the task of defending the world against Voldemort, and got incredible sort of emotional value for Harry, I think, because both his parents were members.
It's your turn now.
At the heart of the Order is Harry's godfather, Sirius Black.
Sirius, he's a little bit reckless.
What's life without a little risk?
Likes to live dangerously.
With Mad-Eye Moody.
Moody is slightly mad, but it's but at the same time he does feel evil very clearly.
Not here, Nymphadora.
Don't call me Nymphadora.
And a new recruit, an irrepressible young witch, Nymphadora Tonks.
She's the youngest person in the Order of the Phoenix, but she's very, very good at spells. I mean, she's very good.
When at last the tension explodes, the mysteries unravel deep in the Ministry of Magic.
We have a big wand battle, and we've not seen that happen before.
Rictus Sempra!
We've seen people training with wands at Hogwarts. We've seen Voldemort and Harry at the end of number 4, but this is the time that you get to see some Olympic-level ninja wandage.
David Yates did say, when the Order of the Phoenix battle the Death Eaters, I want it to be like nothing anyone has ever seen on screen before. I don't want it to be neat. I want it to be messy and anarchic and quite violent.
There's an art to selling a good fight. Making it look real, of course, and truly angry and aggressive, but also shaping it, a good fight. You know, it has its own story.
Don't fight him, Harry. You can't win.
More than just a spectacular fight, this is a battle for Harry's soul that neither he nor Voldemort can afford to lose.
What was really impressive was that David Yates, I think, and Dan had worked together to really bring out the inner battle that's going on in Harry, the inner war of uncertainty.
You will lose everything.
Voldemort may have the followers and may have the power and weapons, but ultimately he will never have what Harry has, which is the people who surround Harry. Whatever happens, they will stand by each other.
Harry has that one thing that Voldemort doesn't have. Love.
Perhaps love is Harry's most powerful spell. For the boy who didn't know where he belonged, we find him surrounded by friends who will stand by him at any cost, unconditionally.
It's about friendship and loyalty and everyone coming together.
You'll be okay, Harry. You're a great wizard.
Not as good as you.
Me, books and cleverness. There are more important things. Friendship. And bravery.
We've known each other for like 5 years now, and they've been through quite a lot through the years. Now you just really get that feeling of real sort of friendship between them all, and they're just really good mates now.
Well done, everyone. Great work.
He is a hero, and he is a really good person. When he's caring for a large group of people, that's him at his most comfortable.
The stakes are higher for Harry, the mysteries ever deeper. But through it all, he knows that he has an army of friends in his corner, and together they'll rise to the challenge. They always do.
You won't last 2 seconds if he invades your mind.
I'm not weak!
Then prove it.
Let us hope Mr. Potter will always be around to save the day. Don't worry, I will be.